Hello everybody, it's Isekai Racing over here at Dallas Karting Complex for round 8 of the Rental League. The round in October was cancelled, so the round in November turned out to be round 8. So here's some footage of the Heavies LCQ. As you can see, I managed to qualify 6th, which was my best qualifying start for the league this year. As you can see, this race was recorded with the Insta360 POV view. Unfortunately, my GoPro had issues, so you won't get GoPro footage for either of my pre-finals races for this round. However, you will get GoPro footage for the finals for both the lights and the heavies. All that's left now is for the green flag to drop. Green flag, and away we go. I'm going to make a mistake going into turn 1, going in too wide. Gonna get pushed out a bit, and I'm gonna take this next corner with too much speed. I don't slow up enough, and I accidentally hit this guy. I tried to evade before hitting him, but I mess up him, and I mess up myself a lot more than he got messed up, but it is what it is. I apologize to him after the race. And then when I turn in here, I mess up. I have a bit of understeer and got in the gravel, and I go down a couple more spots. There's someone to my left I'm fighting with side by side as we go into the boot here. I'm going to end up losing a position and drop down to 14th spot. Someone's on my inside and takes away 14th spot, but I get that spot right back with a bit more exit speed than the other driver. So, one lap almost down and I've lost 8 spots. This was a horrible way to start a race. There's one thing I forgot to mention going into this video. Whenever I use an Insta360 recording, I'm not going to feature the driver audio as much as I had in past Insta360 videos. I had a run-in with a person who watches my channel, or at the very least watched the VLR experience video that I made. They happen to be a pretty young kid, so now that I think about it, even if I do mark my videos as not for kids, that's not going to stop kids from watching them if they want to. So I probably should cool it on the cursing. So with that in mind, I'm going to lower the audio recording from the Insta360. If you guys don't happen to like it, then please say something about it in the comment section and I might reconsider. With that filler discussion out of the way, I've caught up with the rest of the pack here, and I'm going to make a move to the outside and try to get back at some of those positions. Unfortunately, I have to back off a little bit, not enough room. Going to try and make a cut to the inside. Have a little bit less speed and end up getting caught up by someone behind, but I get back that position. I'm still fighting side by side, however I maintain 13th position. Looking back at this race footage, I realized going through this boot area that there was a better line I probably could have picked instead of the one I did end up picking and used during the race. As you saw, I bumped that guy. I carried in too much speed. I thought that we could both go in at full throttle, but he's using a different line and I'm using a different line, so we just end up intersecting. He does take back that position from me, if you were wondering. So here I am, still behind this giant gaggle of cars, not able to make any real progress. I'm going to go wide on this turn, try to get some outside speed. Unfortunately, end up dropping to 14th. Go back to 13th. I have someone to my right. So when I go through this chicane area, I'm pretty conscious of that. So I try to take a bit of a wider line. So that way I don't knock the guy off. He's right there. We wave at each other. I end up going back into 12th position. So since we're in a dead period, I figured I would talk about racing lines. So for this boot coming up, I take a lot more of a direct path to that second apex in that boot right there than a lot of the other drivers were. So there was something fundamentally different between the line I would pick and what a lot of them would pick. That past lap may have not been the best example of that habit on my part, but it's something that I've noticed. And when I think about it, the reason I developed that particular way of going through that corner isn't because it's the fastest, but it's because I've developed it while doing arrive and drives. Since the competition at a regular arrive and drive is a lot lower than elite competition, inevitably bad habits form, and you don't even think that they're bad habits because they're working for you in the moment. Mini lecture over, time for some more racing. I've caught up to this pack, and I'm going to try and make a move over here to the outside. Doesn't really work, end up slipping out a little bit there onto the gravel, so lose some speed. Because of that speed loss, I'm going to end up going side by side with this other driver into this corner. And as we go into this corner, he's going to take the lead from me on it, and you may not hear it from the audio, but I do bump him, and that is going to cost me after the race with a penalty. I'm going to drop down a position, and now I'm in 13th place. I haven't talked about it yet, but if you're familiar with the pre-finals at DKC, you know that they only let the top 20 in for pre-finals, so you're probably wondering why there are 31 drivers. Well, the reason for that is because not enough people showed up to justify a LCQ, so they decided to just let everyone into pre-final and everyone into final, so everyone got to do all of the races. DKC increased the entry fee for the league race from $100 to $150. I got a pretty strong feeling that has a lot to do with why there was such a low turnout for this round of league. Traditionally, when there's an LCQ, only the top 10 drivers make it to the finals round, so if you don't make it past LCQ, then instead of spending $50 per session, you end up spending $75 per session. So I imagine some people did some math and said, nope, not for me. And then added with that is just anyone who would have bulked at $150 even if they had the skill to make it into the final. Heading into the boot for the final time, I see a little fight brewing out, so I decide to go ahead and try and take advantage. With more speed, I'm able to go around on the outside and take back 12th place. Going to make contact with the vehicle behind me, not too sure whose fault that exactly was, is what it is. I maintain 12th position, and I'm going to maintain that until we cross the checkered flag. Well, there's the Heavies pre-final over with. Definitely the worst race I've had this year. Ended up losing 6 positions on the race. Lost another 2 due to a penalty. Additional self-inflicted pain from those antics I was pulling off in the boot turn. Good news is that I still have the final race to make up for those mistakes, so stay tuned for that video. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this race more than I did. A great rest of your day to you, and as always, happy racing.